And we are back with video number 3, the start of turn number 5, rather than the end of turn number 5, as I promised, because as we are following the German progress as for the majority of the time in this game, well, we are actually with the Soviets, and they are the ones in major conflict with the Germans right now. Soviets are buying themselves a couple of militia units. They will go straight into Leningrad itself. It goes into the city, not into the IC. The IC is not available to either side in that contested region. They're also getting themselves some tanks and some artillery to go into probably the Moscow state or Ukraine, depending on what we can squeeze into there after this battle, because the Soviets have said no longer are we going to be pushed around by these Germans. We are going to go in from Ukraine into Bessarabia before the Germans' factory in Romania gets into full flight, because that will start producing 10 units a turn pretty soon. If we can squash this down now, we may be able to slow down this German advance. They're pretty much, apart from putting the militia up into Leningrad, the Soviets are, I think, giving up on that factory up north. So let me get this battle onto the board and I will see you in a second. Well, here it is on the battle board, and I'm actually feeling a little bit more confident for the Soviets than I was 5 minutes ago, because they got this tank, fighter and tactical bomber combination to get themselves into the battle first of all. But they also have 14 infantry artillery in total working together, twos, and a couple of mechanised infantry. Germany can only muster 1 tank. There is 8 artillery and 3 infantry. Let's roll this out and see what happens. I think Germany might get their asses kicked here. Let's start off, excuse the French, let's start off with the tactical bomber and the fighter and the tank. 4s and 3s. And there are 2 hits straight away. Nice. So Germany lose those 2 straight away. And we now have to roll 14 dice. Well, I've got 12 in my hand here. So it'll be 14, 1 roll, plus 2 of the infantry artilleries, all at 2s. It looks okay. There's 4 hits there. 1, 2, 3, 4. The rest are all higher. And we got 2 more dice to roll. We choose 2 opposing colours. And we get no hits. So just 4 off. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. In reply. Sorry, we've got the two mechanised infantry at the end there hiding away. They're both at 1s. And they both miss. So let's get the reply done proper. For Germany, they have a total of 11 units. That's 8 artillery and 3 infantry, plus the 1 tank at 3. Let's roll the 1 tank first. It gets a hit. Nice. So 1 guy comes off the board first. We can still promote one of those guys up. And then we're going to get 11 more dice now for that infantry artillery combination that the Germans can muster. What sort of damage can they do? Again, it's pretty middly. There's just 1, 2, 3, 4 hits out of that. So Soviets will lose 1, 2, 3, 4 more dice. And the Germans have lost all of these. Ooh. Are the Soviets going to press the attack? Of course they are going to press the attack. They've got the box seat here. They could get themselves a factory for free. Possibly. Let's have a little look. We have got our tactical, our fighter and our tank. That's 1 at 4 and 2 at 3. And they all miss. Okay. Left down here we have 1, 2, 3. Plus 4 is 7. Plus another 7. Nope. Plus another 4. Get me counting right. That's 11 dice at 2. So similar to that German first attack, 11 at 2. It's possible they could finish the Soviet army off, the German army off rather, in Bessarabia this turn. Looking at 2s or lesses, and it's not that good a roll this time. I'm just seeing 3 hits. I mean, 3 hits is bad enough, but it's not as much as they would have hoped for. That's just me being greedy on the Soviets' behalf, I think. So let's look at the German reply. We have 1 tank that can roll in at 3. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Should be red dice, all at 2s. This may have been a miscalculation by Germany. I'm beginning to think that it was. And it's just 2 hits, one from the tank and one from the infantry artillery. Oh dear. I think this is going to go into round number 3 without a doubt. Germany are suffering badly. That was a bit of an oversight buying that factory when they could have perhaps shipped more units that way, put their planes in there that landed in East Poland rather than, I don't know. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Let's have a look at this rest of this Soviet reply. Round number 3 of this battle. They have 1 tank at 3, 1 fighter at 3 and 1 tactical at 4. 2 hits now. That's the artillery gone. It's going to be very, very hard for Germany to survive this. We have the 7 artillery plus 2 for the mechanised infantry. That's 8 dice I want in my hand. 6, 7, 8. All at 2s. And I'm seeing 3 hits to take that tank out finally. Oh, that's an oops moment. That is definitely an oops moment for the German player. That's me. Let's try to roll the reply and just hide our heads in shame. 1 tank, 2 artillery units, and they've all missed. That means all these units here will be plunking themselves into Bessarabia. The only saving grace that the Germans have from this is that they can build now 10 units into that Romanian factory when it comes to the start of turn number 6, which for sure they are going to be just piling units into there. But the Soviets are stronger than we thought. Let me see you again at the end of turn number 5. Well, if turn number 5 didn't start off that well for Germany, it only got worse since then. These are the forces that the Soviets have managed to put back into their factories from their purchasing. And as you can see, Germany have only got a few guys in Romania at the moment to try to repel that. But it all went off badly for them everywhere else. The Americans decided to bomb the factories in Normandy, Bordeaux, and in southern France, and in France itself, and they were successful in all 3 attacks. The UK tried to help out and bomb the factory in Germany, but they lost their bomber in the process. Serves them right for trying to copy somebody else's homework. But the big thing happened in the Med. I wasn't intending this to be any kind of historical representation or stealing any ideas. It just made sense that the Americans that were coming over and shuffling their way forward through the Mediterranean were going to land in Sicily. Operation Husky, as it happened in July 43, I think it was. These are all the units. The Americans and the British and the French are now piling into Sicily, ready for this attack on southern Italy or northern Italy. Probably not southern France. We're not sure about that. They could yet do that, especially with this being an Italian factory, and the Italians can't afford to even repair the factory, so it's going to rely on Germany again, reinforcing them with Italy, putting their troops back to their home state, trying to keep their own home nations alive. The Brits have helped out in a minor way. They've gone back into Greece here and taken that away from Germany. So they are now going to get a run back up towards this Romanian factory, albeit with a limited number of troops and a very small amount of supplies here. But Germany are in deep doo-doo. I'll see you somewhere in turn number 6. Not sure where it's going to be, but I think Germany's head's going to be in its hands at the time. Well, here we are in turn number 6. We are going to start off with the Germans. They are buying themselves 10 infantry to go into their Romanian factory and 5 which are going to go somewhere in Central Europe, more than likely to Paris, but it might be the German central factory itself. We'll have to find out. The reason being, we thought they were going to be a little bit quieter this time round, and they're not going to be too belligerent, but they are going to have a pop up there into Leningrad. All the Soviets can muster is 1 artillery and 4 militia units. It's a 1-round attack. Germany, with this number of artillery, which is about half a dozen now, and some tanks, they should be able to smash that and grab that factory, which will put pressure on Archangel. It will put pressure on Vologda and Smolensk. It's going to force the Soviets to think differently about up north as they were maybe 5 minutes ago. But down south, Well, we think Germany did make a mistake in not reinforcing Romania hard enough and long enough and putting these planes in the wrong place. Well, we think that the Soviets didn't really learn from Germany's error, and they put their planes into Western Europe rather than Bessarabia. Whether we think that Germans are exposing that and exploiting that or not, I'm not too sure. But whatever happens, Germany are going to use these half dozen planes they got there, which is bombers and tanks and fighters. They're going to go into Western Ukraine with one tank and some artillery and try to smash these smaller units down here, and then park their planes back into Romania to help defend against any attack from Bessarabia. But win or lose with this attack, they are probably going to be destroying at least half these units that are in there. It's going to force the Soviets to think twice about coming into Romania and taking this German factory. If Soviets did that and were successful, then yes, it's a fillet in their cap. But if they were unsuccessful, they're going to expose their southern flank, with their northern flank also being in deep doo-doo as well. So it's not all doom and gloom for Germany, though the garden isn't rosy. Let's get the Leningrad attack on the board. So this is the attack into Leningrad city with our adjusted numbers. The tanks do not go in at 3 when they're attacking in cities, and the artillery will not provide combined arms to the attacking infantry. So as these will all go down to 2s, the artillery will maintain at 2, so we will have 9 dice all at 2s. We'll have 3, we'll have 3, and we'll have 3 chosen at random. So we have 9 dice all at 2s, trying to smash their way into this Soviet defence, sturdy and hearty defence of Leningrad. And it's up there. I'm going to roll it again. It gets a miss this time round, but they have got 4 damage. That is a pretty good start out of 9 dice, all at 2s. So all that militia that was in there for the Soviets have all been taken out. We now have 3 dice left for the German infantry units that do not get any kind of support. There's no combined arms in the city. They're looking at scoring 1-1 with 1 roll, because it's a 1 roll attack in these places. And they got it! Oh my goodness! That means that Leningrad has fallen. Germany have captured this city. So they will get 1 IPC from Novgorod territory, because you only get half the IPCs when you're capturing a place like that from an enemy. But before we do that, the Soviets are going to get their last gasp rolls in defence. Their 1 artillery will roll in at a 2, and the 4 militias will roll in at a 1. There's good hitting there. There's 2 hits out of that. The infantry and 1 of the artilleries, or 1 of the militias and 1 of the artilleries. So that is 2 German guys lost their lives. These are all gone. The city has gone. It dissolves straight away as soon as it's captured. So all these units go back into Novgorod, which is up there, and that will become a German state. Next up, I shall put these planes flying down into Western Ukraine, along with that tank and the artillery units, and then we'll battle that one out too. The battle for Western Ukraine is on the board. It looks quite good for Germany now. I was a bit downhearted when they failed so badly in Bessarabia before, but we're feeling much more happy now, I think is the right term, because a belligerent Germany is a happy Germany. We have got all these planes here. There's a couple of bombers, couple of tanks, couple of fighters to support them, so we've got lots of attack at 4. We match the ground units exactly the same. Tanks and artillery are the same numbers involved. So let's roll the German attack first. We have 2 bombers at 4, 2 tacticals at 4, and 2 fighters at 3 on the attack. Can they smash this Soviet air wing and ground units in half a roll? Let's have a look. Oh, it doesn't look too bad actually. There's 3 hits. These are the 2s that are 4s that hit. That's 1 at 3 that's hit. So that's 3 units lost straight away from the Soviets. It might be a case of, again, another skirmish, whether we actually do move into Western Ukraine. Well, that's going to be decided by the rest of these dice rolls. That's the 3 units that have been lost so far. They will now have 1 tank, which will be at 3, and 3 artillery at 2 to try to remove the remainder of the units that are in there. Not feeling that confident that we're going to do it, but you remain in. Ooh, that is just the 2 artilleries that hit. I say just the 2, but it means that 1 tank must go, and so must 1 of the planes. I think it's going to have to be the tactical bomber. Ouch. That is pretty damn good for Germany. Hooray for them. So let's roll the Soviet reply. They will have a fighter at 4 and a tactical bomber at 3 and a tank at 3. They got 2 hits off of the Germans, so they removed 2 of their artillery units, and they now will have their 3 artillery, the Soviets, to finish everything off their role in this round. And they've scored 0 hits. That means that all that the Soviets have left now in Western Ukraine will be that 1 fighter. Now, it seems absolutely obvious to me that we should continue with this attack and kill that fighter. Taking that province, taking the IPCs for them and the money away from the Soviets has got to be the way to go. I was kind of thinking, well, do we not just hold back a little bit? But why? There's no point in holding back at all. Let's roll this one out. It's not going to be much of a roll, I shouldn't think. I'll roll 2 bombers at first, and we've killed the fighter straight away anyway. So we didn't have to follow any further with that. The Soviets will get 1 reply at 4 with their fighter plane, and it misses. Well, that is a turnip for the cooks. The Germans are on the march again. Let me tidy everything back up into there. Germany will be taking this place. They're going to be walking into Karelia as well. That's going to be a walk-in. And they're going to be shuffling units along the southern coast here. I will see you, I suspect, because I don't envisage the Russians coming back into Romania when we put 10 units in there as our purchase and land our planes in there. So I think we're going to see you at the end of turn number 6 for our after-action report. Well, finally we have reached the end of turn number 6. Germany have loaded the units into Romania, landed their planes there too. They got plenty of reinforcement there just to hang on to this state. So it did dissuade the Soviets from pushing forward. Whilst they got quite a bit of artillery and enough infantry, a bad dice roll by the Soviets would have left their southern flank exposed, which they didn't really want to do. They've done a lot of work, the Soviets, in moving units up to the north, whilst Germany have only got this factory up here in Leningrad. They can only produce 3 units at a time up here. So I think the Soviets are fairly confident with the northern vector and don't want to compromise their good work by going too hard in the south straight away. The Brits have helped out here. They've used one of their transport ships to pick up, I think it was a couple of guys from Tobruk, loaded them into Yugoslavia, which is a pro-Allied state, gaining 5 infantry in the process. Their tankers rolled through from Greece, blitzed through Albania, it's there now as well, and the infantry is loaded into Albania. So the Brits have got a small enclave of people here that could threaten Germany on the blind side, but also threatening Italy, or at least northern Italy, on the front side. The Americans, well, their massive conveyor belt, which has started off in the eastern United States, is in full flow now. Whilst they haven't actually made any land or sea combats themselves, they are in a position to threaten anywhere in the Med. They can get anywhere entirely, and they could possibly even take some of the units that's already sitting here in Gibraltar and come back round and threaten the northern states of Europe. So it's quite a few questions are being asked right now as to where and when this main invasion is going to take place. America has also had some success with their bombers. They've come down from the UK en route. They've been smashing French factories. They've also now damaged the Italian factories badly as well. There is really no places to be in production for any kind of effective measures now. Putting units in place is costing Italy an absolute fortune, and they've been poor for the whole game. The only thing left to mention is the Brits. Up here in the UK, they've got 4 transport ships, so they again can pick and choose where they want to make their landings, but they are slightly worried about this small but powerful German fleet up here in the Scandinavian seas. I think the UK will want to neutralise this fleet first, or neutralise them as part of some kind of contingency plan for landing maybe in 112 into Norway or Denmark or in the English Channel and getting into the northern European states here. So I'm going to take the rest of the weekend off and have a little rest now, and I will catch you in the German turn of turn number 7. Well, here we are in turn number 7, and it's not going to be the most aggressive turn that Germany's ever made. There was an idea of perhaps taking their fighters and tactical combination along with the bombers and having a go at Sicily, where all this American fleet is parked, or in the sea zone around Sicily rather, because Sicily itself, well, that's just overstacked with pieces too good to defend with. But it would mean parking the planes back into southern Italy, which wouldn't be very good for Germany's defences of Romania. They have bought themselves some artillery and some infantry this time only. That's all they're going to be buying. But they're going to be having an attack up here from Novgorod into Archangel, moving some units down into Belarus just to support that a little bit. Doesn't need to be too strong there. I can't see the Russians coming through, or the Soviets coming through very quickly. And there's going to be a major reshuffle in Europe. The major thing being some of these troops which are in Greater Western Germany will disseminate themselves around the coast. But we think Italy is going to be pulling back from southern France back into northern Italy to assuage this British advance from their own flanks. It means Germany taking responsibility for France and Germany and the Soviet Union, but what else can they do? So it's going to be more of a purchasing round this go, we think. Let's get the attack into Archangel on the board, and I will see you there. Well, this is the battle for Archangel. Germany can muster themselves 4 Panzers versus the one Soviet T-34, and the German infantry versus the Soviet artillery, other way around, is actually a balanced affair at 5 units each. So we have the 4 German tanks and the 5 German infantry. No, 5 German artillery, still getting it back to the front. It's one of them days, you know. And that's some pretty good hitting in my book. The 2 of the tanks have hit and 3 of the infantry have hit. That is 5 off of the Soviets straight away. Oh my god. Now let's have a look at the reply from the Soviet Union. Their 1 tank will roll in at 3 and their 5 infantry will roll in at 2s. Hold your breath, guard your loins. And I'm just seeing the 1 hit there. Everything else is missed. Oh dear, that is not good for the Soviets, but good for Germany. These are removed from the battle. Germany will finish this off, I'm sure, in 1 roll. I'm even just going to roll the tanks on their own. I'm that confident they can do something. And only 1 of them hit, but that 34 has been now knocked out of the game. Can it get itself a reply strike? It can. 1 more German artillery is lost. So that's what's going to be left in Archangel. I'll put that back up on the board, run through the whole of the rest of the turn number 7, where I think we're going to have some kind of invasion by America. Where it's going to be, I'm not entirely sure yet, but the collective thinking of me and the funny lady will come up with some cunning plan that we'll bring to you at the end of turn number 7. Well, we're still in turn number 7, only a few, minutes away from when I left you beforehand. There's been a change of thinking, a change of heart. Because of the UK coming into Yugoslavia, Germany have had to react and move some units out of Romania to cover off the eventuality, the possibility of the Brits just rolling through to Berlin. Germany have had to build in Berlin, they've had to reinforce it, but there's still a corridor left here through Greater Southern Germany, which Germany can cover off themselves fairly quickly should the Brits start going through this way. And the Brits aren't particularly strong there. But I think Italy and Germany were focused quite a lot on the fact that Brits were here, not necessarily where they were going. And to that end, well, Churchill, Stalin and Roosevelt have got themselves together in Casablanca, had a little conference and decided that turn number 7 is going to be the time when they are going to go for it. Because Germany reduced the units down in Romania, Soviets think they've got enough units here to push through from Bessarabia and hit this factory, and if they don't severely weaken or take out this air fleet that's here, they will severely weaken any defences around it. And the units that are able to fly in from Sicily, which is a couple of planes here from the carrier, and this air wing that's here on Sicily Island itself, can come in and do a good mop-up job here in Romania. They're also going to, the Soviets this is, be pushing forward, probably from Smolensk into the Angel, rather than from Vologda or from Smolensk into Belarus, and then reinforcing themselves from Russia state itself. To get this northern area back under control. We don't think Germany got enough money to be able to commit to this now. It's been a complete change of heart. And to that end, well, because the Americans have got quite a big fleet here on their conveyor belt coming through, these boats that are pointing this way, telling everybody they're going back to pick up, but they're going to do a reverse, because they can use the British naval base here and pop 1, 2, 3, meaning that the Americans can load 12 units into Yugoslavia that the Brits have done the groundwork for, and park their bombers here if they want to as well, and form this big central base, the opposite side to where you would normally expect an American or British invasion to come from. So that's the plan for the southern part of Europe. In northern Europe, the Brits are going to be hitting this fleet up here. They're going to fly some bombers over there. They're going to take some fighter aircraft from their carrier and put that into Sea Zone 112. They can fly 1, 2, 3 and back into there to try and smash this German fleet out of the water there. And we think on the British turn as well, but we haven't fully decided that they're going to try to hit Denmark as well, to really have Germany looking 3 different ways all at the same time. So as you may imagine, a lot is going to happen in turn number 7. A lot of things happening to Germany, and in this German-centric video series, following their process, it's going to make this one video way too long. So we'll pick up the action with the Soviets going into Romania from Bessarabia and into Archangel in the next video, video number 4 in this series. I will see you then.